So we just talked about the best wrestlers of 2024. I think it's only fitting that we look at the other side of the coin. And in sports, like if we were doing a normal sports show talking about your typical athletic endeavors, there's like real statistics and real stuff to figure out like who's the best and worst players in whatever sport.
Yeah.
But professional wrestling is one of those weird things where I don't think it's fair to call anyone the worst, because it's all down to kind of how circumstances out of your control go in a lot of ways.
And no one cares what you think.
What the fuck? So, to me, rather than calling everyone the worst wrestlers of 2024, I think that it's better to say the most underrated. And for this particular video, the definition of underrated is going to be people who don't quite get the props that they deserve for what they do, or what's a bit more common on this list is people who don't get the push that they deserve, in our opinion. People who we feel like need to get more TV time, more big wins, more significant storylines, etc. To start off, I think one of the quintessential underrated 2024 wrestlers is Chad Gable. He had a phenomenal year getting himself over out of Alpha Academy, which was, you are fucking hamstrung to the mid-card when you're in a gimmick like Alpha Academy, because that's straight comedy mid-card shit. That's straight comedy mid-card shit. There's no escaping it.
I'm pretty sure he made his bag off commercials and shit, but...
For sure. No, it's a great living, but you're never getting to the top of the card as the leader of Alpha Academy. And so to turn heel, turn your back on the faction, try and put yourself over by going against Sami Zayn and everything that was going on with the IC title. There was a window there just after Mania where for a couple months, if you put the IC strap on Chad Gable, the dude would have gotten stupid over and could have potentially been propelled into the world title scene after a strong IC title run. But rather than that, he misses out on that window and ends up with American Made, which is now kind of just the same thing Alpha Academy was, but the heel version, where he's just leading around this other mid-card talent, which they're all very young in their careers. I'm sure they're going to go on to do great things. This isn't like a dunk on Alpha Academy moment or fucking American Made moment. Like, this isn't me trying to shit on anyone. I just think that there was a lot that we could have done with Chad Gable, giving him one of these, and we just didn't. And it felt like that was a moment that was really missed out on.
You know what they said? Fuck your daughter twice. They said fuck your daughter twice, bro.
And made the whole thing a big deal about Sami Zayn getting the win in front of his wife and everything like that. But Chad Gable's family? Fuck y'all, bro. Fuck y'all. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy, man. So, yeah, bro, Chad Gable definitely got to be in the conversation. This next one might be a little controversial.
Fucking, this was his daughter's face.
This next pick I got for underrated wrestler might be a little controversial. And I know I was recently defending this guy, so this might even come off as a bit hypocritical to people who might have been watching the recent content. But LA Knight. So I was recently defending his title run on here, saying that people were giving it too much hate. But I think there's a middle ground here. People were shitting on the title run, saying that it was completely trash. I think that's too far over on this side. But I think that there's some people that are over on this side saying that LA Knight's amazing, still the best thing ever, and like still just loving LA Knight. I think it's more in the middle. And I think that's the underrated zone. Where he had a strong title run. Decent. Wasn't as bad as some people were making it out to be. But definitely didn't have that marquee feud, that big moment that you can hang your hat on. And honestly, if you look at the momentum that LA Knight had, that he carried throughout 2023, and compare that to LA Knight 2024, I think the momentum has slowed down a bit. The pop is still there. Like, he's still big with the fans, which is great. But I think that if we gave LA Knight the proper platform, the proper heel to go up against, or honestly, I think if we turned LA Knight heel, there could be more to do with the character. But as things stand, I think that he is an underused talent. Just for what the potential of what he has. Someone that you brought to the table in our conversation earlier, Jade Cargill. Why do you think Jade Cargill deserves to be on this list?
She was very overhyped when she first got advertised, no? The storm was coming, this and that.
Yeah, it was kind of supposed to be this big thing that, like,
She
shook
had a
up the
stare
women's
off with
division.
Charlotte Flair, all this and that, or whatever.
Big moment with Nia in
And
the
now
Royal Rumble.
she's somehow stuck in a tag team with Bianca Belair, which is another one on our list. And now she's injured somehow. And now she's she's on the shelf for some reason now.
So if you look at the full year, you're saying
Not good.
has ended up... Yeah, no, honestly, I think it's hard to disagree. Because like you said, like, she came in with... Honestly, let's be real. Because there's been, at this point, quite a few big signings from AEW to WWE. Besides Cody, obviously. I think she was probably the most propped up AEW steal that WWE have had thus far. And it just didn't... Yeah, it hasn't really gone anywhere so far. And so, yeah, definitely you gotta put Jade in that conversation. You kind of mentioned it a bit. You also had Bianca in your personal list of underrated, underused wrestlers.
She's supposedly one of the top faces in the female division now. They put her in a lot of advertisements. They put her everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
So why is she Miss Investigator who killed my partner, basically, type of shit.
And even before that, just generally stuck kind of, like you said, in the
Same
tag
shit,
division.
Tag team type of shit. I understand, yeah, it's like pushing the tag team division, everything, they're a good partnership, whatever. I understand the deeper vision and everything.
But no, like, you're very valid in saying that, like, if we're just isolating 2024 and looking at the year in totality, this has not been a strong year for Bianca Belair. No, that... And it's like you said, it's unfortunate because she is, like, supposed to be one of the, like, pillars of the company, especially of the women's division, and just hasn't really been given a chance to shine properly. There's been so much other stories being told in the women's division where she hasn't really factored in. And yeah, no, definitely, I think both of those shouts were very, very fair. Very, very fair. This next one I added onto the list and is a bit of a departure from these ones where we've been saying they're like underused, underpushed, because she's gotten a fair push and she gets a great amount of TV time for a mid-card wrestler. But I don't think she gets the appreciation from the community. Piper Niven. So, everyone loves and everyone appreciates Chelsea Green.
I feel like this is one of those calls that I made last week. 2 weeks ago, I mean.
Everyone loves Chelsea Green.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is because everyone is so over on Chelsea, which is deserved, 100%, people tend to ignore what Piper adds to that friendship, that tandem that they have. And I just think that, especially if we're talking in-ring ability, because obviously Chelsea carries a lot with the mic work, but even then, Piper is great for dropping these little one-liners or just backing up Chelsea. Like, I do think she's genuinely funny in her own right.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously being paired with Chelsea helps that a lot. I'll give people that. But the in-ring ability that she's able to add to that partnership and gives Chelsea so much legitimacy, she's able to pull off some really phenomenal shit. And honestly, I thought had a decent shout when she was getting pushed at Clash at the Castle earlier this year. I would have liked to have seen maybe not a full like women's world title push, but maybe her getting deeper in the United States Championship tournament or just anything to see Piper pushed a bit more as an individual. But I just think that she's someone who's underrated, just slept on by the community in general. I'm a big fan of Piper Niven, and I think that in the women's division, she adds something that's pretty unique with the way that she's able to work in the ring, the stuff that she adds with Chelsea outside of the ring. I think Piper Niven is an underrated talent.
Interesting shot, but yeah. Okay.
I do.
I'll give it to you, but yeah.
I'm a Piper Niven supporter. I'm going to put that out into the world.
Just kiss her already, bro.
I'm a happily taken man in a relationship. I'm good on that. You know, it's definitely nothing along those lines. Fan of her work. I don't know why you took it there. Just for the record, for the people out there, he would have said it for a male wrestler as well. He's a piece of shit. Someone else that I think we gotta throw in the category is Finn Balor. And it stings. It fucking stings. Cause god damn it. Finn is a legend of professional wrestling. Finn is a professional wrestling legend when you consider just everything he's done around the world. And now we're at this point where he is stuck in no man's land. It's another one of those situations like with Chad Gable where there was a moment where if we pulled the trigger on it, it could have been so different, and that was post SummerSlam for Finn, where after the whole Judgment Day breakup happens, if we get to that Damian versus Finn feud immediately after, there could be so many interesting things you can do with it. But it just got kind of delayed, kicked down the road, and by the time we got to it, the match itself wasn't great, and it just ended up being kind of underwhelming. But Finn versus Damian was supposed to be one of the money feuds of the year. And it just never quite hit. But that feud, missing the mark, ended up being what cost Finn his kind of heat this year. You know what like that was the big moment, and since then there hasn't really been anything. They're finally starting to give us a bit of something with this whole tension in the Judgment Day with him and Liv and him and Raquel. Like, I think maybe for us Finn fans, there's something to start being hopeful about a bit. But this won't be playing out until next year. And so if we're just isolating 2024, it's been a rough year for Finn Balor. A year of missed opportunities for Finn Balor. It's unfortunate. How you feeling about Finn?
He's supposed to be one of the top fucking superstars, no? He's supposed to be one of them guys, no? Bro just keeps on getting cooked, bro. No cap.
Yeah.
Pause, but...
Yeah. It's rough.
Bro is trying to supposedly take control of the Judgment Day. Now he's getting laughed at by the rest of the Judgment Day. Now he's fucking losing the fucking his shot at the world title and shit like that. Like, bro.
It's rough. I feel for him, man. I do hope that next year is stronger for Finn Balor because he's got the talent, and at the age he's at, who knows how much longer we have, like, prime Finn Balor. So I hope that next year is stronger for him.
Are we going to get Demon Balor on the final Finn Balor, Damian Priest match?
I would love it if they pulled that out again. I think this would be an opportunity where it fits. But, yeah, I don't want to get my hopes up and get disappointed. Speaking of being disappointed, This one, again, might be a bit controversial, but I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm sorry. The Wyatt Six. It's been a bit underwhelming in a lot of ways. I feel like the overall presentation of the group is still really strong. The visuals and everything, like, I think they do a really good job presenting the group. But the storylines have lacked follow through. You know, like, no one that they feuded with has fundamentally changed their ways. They keep on going after people, wanting to make them see the error of their judgments, make them understand that they're doing the wrong things. And it's, you know, they're terrified during the feuds and people act all scared. But then once the Wyatt Six stop focusing on them, they just go back to being the pieces of shit that they were beforehand. And so it feels like the group lacks a bit of impact. They haven't gotten a chance to get thrusted into anything with any truly main event talent. And I think one of the biggest failures on the creative part of WWE is the fact that this massive, big deal faction debuted and they haven't even made it onto a PLE yet. Not a single show.
They're just on Raw, kind of there.
So I guess I just look at it as, like, the whole hype and the build-up was so elaborate and they did all the teases and hints and it was supposed to be this big thing. And of course, because of the love we all have for Bray Wyatt, we're naturally going to buy in and support it. But if we just honestly assessed where the faction is at after their first kind of calendar year closes on being on the show, I think it's been a bit of a failure. And I think we gotta do more to make their feuds feel like they matter and try and do more to propel them into the main event scene. I don't think that means they gotta start going for championships and shit like that, because I don't think stuff like that, these material objects, should matter to a group like the Wyatt Six. But the fact that they can go after and torture and attack someone like a Chad Gable, and then he's still out there being a piece of shit with American Made, well, what was the point?
Yeah.
What was the point? He barely even got held off of TV after the
Same
feud.
shit with
like,
The Miz.
The Miz is still being a heel with Karrion Kross, and I'll give them a bit of credit that at least that storyline hasn't fully concluded. So maybe there will be some sort of development. But the way it's gone so far, I'm not super hopeful. And if that's the case, what the fuck are they doing? What are they accomplishing? So I guess I just worry that they're going to end up being just a cool gimmick, but nothing more. And that's not what I want for them. Like, I truly wanted the Wyatt Six to have something that feels like they matter. And because you constantly have characters turning heel, turning face, like, it would have been fine for that feud with Chad Gable to have turned him to a babyface for a bit. Even if he ends up turning heel again, just to make the feud feel like it had a tangible impact going forward. Even if it's just he's too scared and he's obviously, like, still wants to do the same American-made bullshit, but he's like, oh, no, guys, we can't do that because, you know, the Wyatt Six might be watching. Like, that type of a thing. Like, there's so many ways you could have done it to make the feud feel like it had some sort of lasting impact going forward. And they just never attempted to do that. And that was a failure. I got a couple more on here that are a bit more random. But I'm going to throw them out there for you.
What the fuck is that, bro?
I guess it's just because I'm fans of their work. And I feel like they could get a more significant push if creative felt like it, basically.
What title, though, would he win?
Well, I'll explain. I think Andrade had just as valid of a case as Shinsuke to be the person that dethroned LA Knight.
That one's fair, but Axiom?
I didn't put Axiom on the list.
Oh, you didn't? Oh.
This was thought I was put.
I thought you were actually being serious with putting...
We were joking earlier. We were talking about the list, and I was pretending like I was going to put Axiom on there. No.
I literally just saw right now.
We'll save the NXT shit for another day. Fucking Andrade to me was someone who I feel like had a very valid case to be the person who could have dethroned LA Knight as the United States champion. And I think just in general, besides that little mini feud that they had going with Carmelo Hayes, hasn't been given a whole lot to work with. And when you look at what Andrade has, the package of a wrestler he is, if you book that guy properly, he's easily in your world title picture and potentially a world champion. 100%. Like, I think that I just feel like he's underused at the moment. And it's partially because WWE just has a spoil of riches in their main event scene. Like, they could close their eyes, throw a dart at the dartboard, and whoever's face it lands on, they'd make him the world champion and we'd buy it. Like, the roster is stacked. However, because of that, there's gonna naturally be some people who get left behind, and unfortunately this year one of those people that's been the most left behind in my opinion is Andrade. The final nominee I have on my list for most underrated wrestlers of the year is someone who it's an interesting one, but it's someone that I think people will feel me. Like, there was a big opportunity to turn this guy babyface for a while, and we teased it for a while, and then Austin Theory just runs around doing the same old bullshit with Grayson Waller.
Bro.
At this point, I don't even know if they're gonna pull the trigger on it. I think we might just go back to them being a tag team and just being your generic heels that think that they're the shit because they're the shit.
They are,
and they are, but damn, man, like the pop that Theory would have gotten
if he would have fucking hit,
would have been huge. And my thing is, like, I've never met him, but from all accounts I've heard from fans and like reporters and stuff like that, like, it seems like he's genuinely a really good dude and might just naturally, by the nature of his personality, again, not trying to insinuate like I know anything about him personally, but from reports and stuff I've seen online, it seems like he might just be better suited to being a babyface just because he's kind of chill. And so if you just give him a fun face gimmick of him just kind of being more of himself, that might get him more over than him, like, trying to be this cocky piece of shit, but it feels like his heart isn't fully in it, which is crazy because he's got all the reason in the world to be cocky. Like, the dude is fucking shredded to no end. Like, handsome guy, makes a lot of money. Like, I'm sure he's could be cocky, but it just seems like his heart's not in it. Like, he doesn't give me that MJF, like, real shitty, egotistical dude vibe. And that is partially, I guess, to his fault because I'm not fully bought into the character. But part of it, I also think, is if you're giving someone a character to portray that is not who they really are, it's going to be harder for them to make it believable. So I feel like an Austin Theory face turn would have been positive for him. Would have been good for Grayson Waller, too, to make his heel character feel a little bit more legit, I guess. But
interesting calls, but yeah, I feel it.
Now they're just kind of both stuck running around with one another still.
Mid-cards.
So those are my nominees, and if from that list, I'm gonna actually let you do the honors first and let you give me your pick for your most underrated wrestler of 2024.
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor? Okay. What's your reasoning?
Like I said, he's supposed to be one of the top stars. He wrestles like one of them. He talks like one of them.
But he doesn't get pushed like one of them?
Nope. Bro is just literally over here chilling in the backstage playing WWE 2K with the rest of the Judgment Day.
That's pretty tough.
And then now he's on the blame game, how every other heel is doing nowadays, I guess.
What do you see for the future of Finn Balor within, let's say, like the next 3 months going into the new year? I get, like, where do you see this feud that's kind of brewing with Liv playing out? And obviously there's the kind of transfer portal open.
He's going to definitely have to handle a lot of shit, bro. If he's going to want to, like, supposedly start the new year and win some titles, he's going to fucking have to handle a lot of shit.
Okay. Honestly, I think that Finn is a fair. Like, you're not gonna hear. I'm not gonna argue against it. Part of me, honestly, I almost want to agree with you and say Finn, but for the sake of the show, and also partially because I do really stand by it, I'm gonna go ahead and say the Wyatt Six. Because that debut, like, I don't know if you fully have remembered just how deep that whole, like, all of the different teases, the little flash ups, the QR codes, like, the shit lasted for, I want to say, a good 2-3 months. Like, way longer than people were kind of like, all right, like, can we just bring them out already?
Started,
Like,
in August, fucking July or
the
some
build
shit.
was ridiculous. And by the time they finally debuted, obviously the pop was huge because of everything. Like, of course, we were so ready to pop for that shit. But if we really look at where we're at now, it sucks to say, but I feel like we have to say that it's been a failure thus far. From where they should have been, with where the hype was at when they debuted, no one could have predicted that they'd be beefing it with Karrion Kross.
That's hilarious.
No, dead ass. Like, if I would have told you when the Wyatt Six debuted that in December of this year they'd be beefy with Karrion Kross.
Who's more evil, bro?
And not only that,
Who's
can I
more
tell you this? Can I tell you this?
Who's more evil?
Can I tell you this? Can I tell you this?
Who's more evil?
Not only by December of this year, so let's we just time travel back to when the Wyatt Six debuted, right? And now I'm talking to you, past you. Hey, Elise, check this shit out. The Wyatt Six just debuted, right? You're hella excited about it, right? But check this shit out, twin. I just time traveled from December. Can I tell you some crazy shit, gang? They're gonna be beefing it with Karrion Kross in December. And, like, low key, it's the best feud they've had so far is with Karrion Kross.
Who's more evil, bro?
And look, like, credit to Karrion, like, in that whole whatever the fuck they call themselves.
Triple H is probably trying to
Final Testament.
Triple
That's
H is
cool.
probably trying to his both of the factions, bro. Honestly.
But fuck, this is rough, man. This is
fuck.
rough. That is my pick. And again, I wish it wasn't the case. I wish it wasn't the case for everyone on this list. I hope that everyone on this list next year is on the Wrestler of the Year list. Don't say, don't be mean. We want people to succeed. Damn. You a fucking asshole. Alright, man. Shit.
Fucking GG's, bro.
L show.
Shout out to
Shout out to everybody, man. If you made it to this point, bro, we have been getting some, like, real love on the content recently.
Fuck yeah, bro.
People liking it up, dropping comments, bro. Honestly, we cannot express how thankful we are. Like, that we are fucking means the world to us. And we are going to keep dropping this shit. And if you want to keep hanging out with us, come along. L show.
L fucking show, bro. That's another week.
Another week.
Catch you later, chat.